Stephen?
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the camera.
All right. Hi.
Hi.
So, here we are again. Still here.
Yeah. So what are you going to do today?
What are you going to do today?
Well, I'm going to show you how to purl.
Why? What's purl?
Well, see, I can't pronounce that word. It's my customers constantly make fun of me because of it.
Because you're not Scottish.
Yeah, because
It's not a Scottish word, though.
No, I guess it's just an English. I just can't pronounce it.
An old English word. Knit and purl.
Yeah.
So last time we very successfully, I very successfully, because I am a successful knitter. Well, and this is one thing. This amazing beanie. It's pure Baltic beanie.
Yeah, you made it into a skull cap though.
Yeah, it's kind of shorter. I wanted it a skull cappy thing. And basically it's a knit stitch, is that right?
Yes.
There's one simple stitch.
It's just a knit stitch. And it's knitted sideways rather than in the round.
So it's the same inside and out. Lovely round big wool, very soft, merino, very nice. Using these 10mm wired, what do you call these?
Circular needles.
Circular needles. I keep getting the camera wrong, that's quite weird. Right, they were there. So these are quite good fun. A bit different from these, which was the first attempt at knitting. You can see how good my first attempt at knitting was.
Yeah.
I'm knitting,
Yeah,
I'm knitting.
You just didn't really like them, did you?
I didn't like these, no. I think big needles are kind of silly, and they're, I don't know, I also felt like I was a knitter. But maybe, nothing wrong with that, really. But it's a bit like, I play guitar, and beginners often get given kind of big guitars that don't sound very good.
No, but see, they're actually they're
Exactly
both
the same, yeah.
They're symphony, so they are actually really good needles, both of them.
They are
It's
good.
just you didn't.
Again.
And I also think those ones just made more of a noise, didn't they?
Yeah. And they're a wee bit unwieldy.
Yeah, and because the way I knit, and I think it's actually because you're doing the picking method, that they are a little bit in the way, so they kind of get out and clickety-click, kind of flapping.
So so it's inexperience, and I didn't realise that you could have such a thing. But now we're going to do, I want to do something a bit more advanced, but it might all be a disaster.
No, I think you'll be fine.
I want to do something finer, and I wanted to have, you told me this was a ribbed hat. So not this colour.
Yeah.
But just, this is what is a finer wool, yeah?
Yeah, it was more kind of just to show you what you're going to do is you're going to do a ribbed brim, and I think you wanted a fold up brim, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then we're doing the kind of the plain main body, and we're going to do it in two colours. You said you wanted two colours.
Well, we're not really got much choice in the colour because we're using sample wool.
Yeah,
that we've got,
but
so.
You did say
No, I wanted two colours because I want to start to learn. So we're going to learn a whole lot of things in the next steps. We're going to learn knit and purl, doing a rib.
Yeah, you're going to knit in the
Ribs
round.
and rice. Knitting in the round.
Yeah.
What's knitting in the round mean?
Means it is knitted as a tube. So,
all right. So
do you want
this hat. Show this as your
so
hat.
this one is the fern beanie.
So this is why you use these with the wire on them.
Yeah. So you.
What are they called again?
Circular needles.
Circular needles.
So you'll use a much smaller circular needle.
Oh, we're going to use a much finer needle.
Yeah.
I just happen to have a pair here.
Yeah, you're going to use the sing one, so you're going to try these ones to see how you.
These
like
are
them.
what size? These are 40 centimeters, 4.5mm diameter.
So you're going to use what's called kind of worsted weight yarn.
Oh, hold on a second. Worsted.
Worsted, yeah.
Worsted.
Yeah.
Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah, kind of.
Worcestershire sauce. What's worsted wool? Do we not know?
It's the thickness of the wool that's called that. Again, remember,
let's go back to circular needles. We've not done that bit, right? So I'm a bit confused. So basically, hold on.
But you were using.
Let me explain. Bloody hell! Sorry for language. So I understand knitting to be like that, and the fabric that you knit will come out like this. As you knit, it comes out like that, and that's what happened here. This was knitted like that.
Yeah, so it's
Right,
called
focus.
knitted flat.
And it knitted flat, and the fabric come up, and then we just basically rolled up this, and we sewed it up the side, quite invisible. You can't really see it. I couldn't tell you what it is. Maybe there, and then we gathered in the end, and kind of pulled it tight. Even that's kind of invisible, which is quite cool. So that made sense to me. But knitting in the round
Yeah.
is this tube idea. So like this, you have these very fine needles, and this is a whole tube. So there's no knitting up. Well, you might have to gather it up, I'm guessing.
Well, so when you're knitting a tube, when you get to the top, so I'm actually just about to start kind of reducing the circle. So I'm actually going to reduce the stitches here by knitting some of them together. So I'll get less and less stitches, and that kind of shapes the top of your hat. So you don't just gather it. Like, I could take this yarn and just strand it through all the stitches and then gather it, but it will become quite ruffled and stuff. But I wanted to kind of shape it more like a dome.
Right, okay, this is we need to, oh, your stitch marker's fallen off.
No, I took it off.
You took it off?
Yeah, because you're going to use it.
You are good. So we're doing a lot of things here. We've gone from, because I am clearly a genius in making, potentially genius. Well, you know,
A couple of years, maybe 10, 20.
of knitting. No, not a couple of years. We want to do knitting now. I want to be knitting cool things now.
Yeah.
But it might take a bit longer than that.
Yeah, people often kind of think that they can maybe jump. Well, some people can, and it's really good to be adventurous though.
Okay, so we're going to do knit in the round with our fine needles. We're going to do a knit and a purl, and to make a rib, and we're going to use 2 colours. So let's look at the wool. What wool are we going to use then?
So we're going to use this here. That's Pebble Island.
So why is that not in a ball?
Well, I think it's more kind of a fashion thing. In the kind of olden days, a lot of people remember their mothers coming home with a hank of wool. And
I thought it was a skein.
no, this is actually a hank.
This is a hank.
Yeah.
Hank Williams.
So
Famous
a lot of people
country
call it
singer.
a skein, but this is actually a hank. A skein is actually, I was googling this. A skein is this. This is what people call a ball, but actually a ball of wool is a ball that is round. So this is your skein.
What is this?
This is a yarn cake.
Oh my goodness, this is all getting far too much.
Yeah, and this
All
is
the words.
and this is a donut.
Oh, that's good. Right, okay, so this is quite. Now, what is this fine? What kind of weight is this?
So this is the worsted weight.
This is worsted weight.
Yeah.
The worst witch weight. And you've taken this.
Yeah, and I used my spinny thing, my ball winder,
Yeah, we can
and
look
Swift.
at a really nice video for that. And you turned it into this.
Yeah.
A cake of yarn.
Yeah, and it's much easier to knit from. Obviously, you would never knit directly from this
Why not?
because it just gets into a big tangle, fankle, I think they call it in Scotland.
So I saw a knitter on the Instagram, and he had things in cups or bowls.
Yeah, you can put your yarn in bowls, and it obviously stops it from kind of scooting about the floor.
Okay, so just remind me, this is called a
hank.
And we took the hank and we used the cool windy thing.
Yeah, it's called the Swift, the big one that you kind of the umbrella thing.
Uh-huh.
That's called the Swift, and then obviously the other one is called a ball winder.
A ball winder, and you made a cake of yarn like that. So now this is ready to work with.
But also, you don't have to have those kind of Swift and ball winder. You can actually just undo this one like this, get someone to stand like this, and this is a lot how I did this for my mum, and she would then undo this one and then start winding it into a ball.
Wow.
And that could take forever, really.
I think our youngest might do that. I don't think our teenager would do that.
No.
Unless you paid them.
Well, they would do anything if they pay them.
Yeah. And then they would just spend the money on
Sushi.
or boba tea. What is boba tea?
Yeah.
Do we know what boba tea is? Okay, so we're
So-
going to knit this hat, but not with these.
No,
with
you're going to
these.
use these ones, yeah.
But tell me about this wool because it's quite nice, and we mentioned sustainability,
Yeah. So
and you said, let's use this wool again from Rowan. We're kind of a Rowan shop, but we have other brands.
yeah.
But this just happens to be you had some of this kicking about, so I can make this. I can make mistakes with this because
Yeah, it's
it's
not.
sample.
Yes, it's it was to knit something with.
I mean,
So
these are nice colours. I don't know if I would have completely chosen the colours, but I think they're to practice with is great. And I think we'll start and make the brim of the hat this red.
Yeah.
I don't even call it a red. Make it a kind of burgundy, and then we'll do
burgundy
the main body of the hat and that. And I could basically do it with 2 cakes of wool.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Is
do
that 100 grams?
No, there's 50 grams.
Okay.
So,
Is it expensive?
Yeah, it's basically the way it's been kind of. It is a traceable yarn, you know. So it's.
So what do you mean traceable? Tell me what that means.
It's fully traceable. It means that this
Excuse me, I'm
yarn,
sniffing.
it's called Pebble Island, and it comes from that flock of sheep that.
In the Falklands.
Yeah, that.
Pebble Island in the Falklands. Is it actually a place called Pebble Island in the Falklands?
Yeah, there's actually Pebble Island
Well,
in the Falklands.
we're gonna go there and check it out. Let's see our. Let's switch cameras.
So.
Right, this is Rowan Pebble Island.
So that's the first.
I mean, already
pattern.
this is quite nice.
Yeah.
I actually even quite like that.
I have a couple of other books as well.
But this looks like it would take a long time to knit.
That one, yeah, it's a big one. Here you got like a wee hand warmer, so that's.
So this is that's a rib.
Yeah.
And it's a knit and a purl.
Yeah.
And basically, to make a rib, you knit 2 and purl 2.
Yeah, you can do that's called a 2x2 rib. You can do a 1x1 rib, which means you knit and purl, and then you can do a 2x1 and 1x3, and you know.
Okay.
But rib is really what the rib is referring to, kind of these kind of stripes that it creates, and it create like an elastic fabric.
Yeah, I like it. This top. So there was just a couple of things I wanted to look at. This top. So this multicoloured top. So you'd literally have to have multiple balls.
Yeah.
Or multiple cakes, all those different colours, and knit with them at the same time.
Yeah. It's this particular technique is called intarsia.
Intarsia.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah. It's.
Is that quite difficult?
I wouldn't say it's difficult. It's just more impractical because depending on how many colours you're knitting with at the same time, you will actually spin off a little bit of yarn, put them on like wee cardboard, or have some wee fish. You can put it on, and then you have them dangling on your fabric, which is it's just a little bit kind of challenging, put it that way, because they will keep getting tangled if you're not careful.
Wow. Okay, so there's another good example.
That's easier because of stripes.
So is it also called intarsia?
No, that's just called stripes.
So that's just called striping.
Yeah, so you're knitting with one ball at the time here.
Yep.
You're not knitting with multiple colours at the same time.
Okay, so this is a nice book. This is Rowan's Pebble Yarn. It's Pebble Beach.
Pebble Island.
Pebble Island.
Yeah.
Pebble Island. It's all fully traceable. What kind of wool is it? Sorry.
It's merino.
It's merino again. Merino sheep.
Yeah, it's a really high quality.
They live on the beach.
Yeah, they live on the beach and eat kelp.
They eat kelp.
Yeah. Which makes them even more sustainable.
Why?
Because they emission less methane gas.
They emit less methane gas.
Yeah.
They're farting kelpy.
Yeah, they're farting less.
Oh, they're farting less. It's not so much. It's not just kelp. They're less.
They're farting less.
Amazing.
Apparently.
So this is really quite a great. Well, this lovely pictures. It's a very nice book. So.
Yeah, it's one of my
and all these
favourite
colours.
designers. Yeah.
Who designs it?
Erica Knight.
Okay.
So.
Why do colours always have kind of funny names?
So, for example, the rockhopper, that's a penguin, and it's a yellow one. So it's referring to the rockhopper's kind of yellow eyelashes.
What's diddle dee?
It's a berry.
The diddle dee berry.
Yeah.
No, it's not. What colour is this? Do you think?
This one there is the diddle dee.
We're going to knit my hat in diddle dee.
Yeah. And I think this is kelp.
Oh, here we are. Look, fully traceable. Oh, it's a bit shiny. Fully traceable pure wool, responsibly farmed and hand sheared.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons why it's so
expensive. Right. On Pebble Island in the Falklands archipelago. Denmark's an archipelago. Did you know that?
Well, I didn't know that that was the word for what it is.
All the islands forming one large area, archipelago.
Okay.
Spun and dyed in Yorkshire. There you go.
That's
Okay, how do we know the pattern? Where's the pattern for the hat?
Well, we're going to make it up.
You're going to make it up.
Yeah.
So we've got quite a lot of techniques happening here.
Yeah.
So what do I do? Well, let's not talk about that. What I want to know first of all is about this in the round thing. So I'm going to put these little needles together. Well, they already are together. And you've...
Well, I was in checking a couple of different patterns, which is knitting hats with the same type or the same thickness of yarn, and I just kind of decided on a number of stitches, which is 96.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
So you need to cast on 96 stitches.
That doesn't seem big enough.
It is.
But how does it go around my? It doesn't go around my head.
Yeah, it is big enough.
What? How do you know?
Because how many years do you think I've knitted?
Well, you're getting old, you know.
Mhm.
Old lady.
Yeah, 44 years.
You're not 44 years old.
No, but
You've
that's
been
how
knitting for that long.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to tell your age. I didn't mention your age. You mentioned the age.
But I'm looking quite young for my age.
You're looking beautiful for your age. A beautiful lady from the Nordic lands.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I've been knitting for 44 years.
Wow. Okay, so you're confident this is going to be my hat.
Yeah.
In this colour.
Yeah.
In the round.
Okay, can we now get to it? Can you?
Okay, we're going to cast on for 100 stitches, 96 stitches.
Yeah.
But you're saying, how do we do that?
So we're using the long tail method,
Yep.
which means that we need to calculate out the length of the tail.
Yep.
The way we do that is wind your yarn round the needle 20 times, so that's roughly about 20 stitches. Then we're going to times that length 5 times, so we get to about 100.
And I do it loosely or tight?
Tight.
So that's 3, is it?
Yeah, I think it's 4.
I've got the very tip though.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
4,
Just keep
5,
going.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's kind of tight.
Yeah, that's fine. So now you unwind it. So hold on to...
Hold on to the last bit.
Yeah. And then unwind it. And then you know roughly what 20 stitches.
Okay.
So times that out.
So you mean fold it up?
Fold it up.
Okay.
So if
I'm
I
guessing
help-
5 times.
Yeah. Whoops. If you hold on to it there, I'll help you. There. And one more. So this is about 100 stitches. We then add just a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do our slip knot here. Do you want to do your slip knot?
Do my wee
there?
slip knot. So like that.
Yeah.
And then pull it, pinch it through.
Yeah.
That there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
And then I'm putting it onto my needle.
Yes.
Do I tighten it?
Yeah, you tighten it. Yeah.
And then I'm taking my yarn and I'm doing my standard stitch.
Your
which
standard
is
cast on.
cast on, sorry. Which is that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
I'm just going to do this 96 times.
Yep.
What? 96 times?
Yeah.
How long is that going to take?
Probably the rest of the night.
Okay.
I don't know whether that's...
Oh, wow, that took ages. But I've finally done it. 96 stitches.
Yeah. So now we need to join this up.
Okay, so obviously I didn't do 96 stitches. Tilde did it for me. But I am going to knit the whole thing, and I think that's probably important to show you how a beginner got on with something so hard. But for ease of use, Tilde did the 96.
It was more because we couldn't sit here for hours.
No. So what you're saying to me now, we've also zoomed in to get a bit more of a focus on this finer stitch.
Yeah.
But you're saying that we had to join these together
Yeah.
to get the in the round thing maybe already happening.
Yeah. So it's important. So for a hat, for example, we need to make sure that we don't twist. Actually.
What do you mean twist?
So you can make a twist. Basically, you can have your twist.
They're literally
stitches.
twisting the stitch round.
Yeah. So if you were starting to knit now and just kept going in the round, you'll end up with a twist. So at this point, we lost some sound for the recording. But what I'm trying to show here is that if you're having a twist in your knitting, when you're knitting a hat, you basically will keep having a twist and it won't work as a hat. So you'll need to untwist the stitches. It's very easy when you're knitting a hat to see if it's twisted. If it's a slightly bigger project, it can be a little bit more difficult, but for a hat it's easy. So when we're starting to join this up, what I'm showing in the video is that you would do knit 2, purl 2, and when you start knitting, you will tighten up the first 2 stitches. You'll make sure that you knit really tight. Again, if you have been knitting a full round and you find you had twisted your hat, you can still untwist it. So check after you knitted 1 round that it's not twisted. So again, here we're seeing that I'm doing a knit 1 and I'm really tightening this up, and I'll be knitting the next one and then I'll show Stephen how to do the purl stitch. There's different ways of doing the purl stitch. You can do it, you can pull your yarn forward, or you can just keep it sitting on your finger, your left index finger. That's how I'll do it, and that's how I'll teach Stephen. So another knit, and the purl stitch is you go behind the yarn you have on your finger. You're not going in from the front, but you're going in from the back. So there you can see I'm pulling the yarn forward, but yeah, I'm normally holding it right at the back of the needle.
Speak up.
So go behind the stitch, behind the yarn, and in from the back, and then you will do a wee flick to kind of pick up that yarn from your finger and back out through the stitch, and you will then push the stitch off the needle, and then again you're going behind the yarn and into the back of the stitch and do a wee twist round and pick up the yarn and back out where you came from and push the old stitch off, and there you got 2 knit, 2 purl, and you will repeat that all the way around, and we'll repeat that for, I think it's about 10 centimeters. So knit 2, and the next one will be purl 2. So there you can see I'm kind of tinking back basically, because what I've forgotten to do there is actually to place a stitch marker. At the beginning of a round you want to place a stitch marker just to keep you right. So you can see I'm grabbing my stitch marker and putting it in. It's one of these ones that you're just sliding onto your needle. This is a lovely one from Knit Pro, like a wee chakra one. So for you mindful knitters out there, this is like ideal. So yeah, again I'm showing that you're just sliding it on your needle, and when you get to, when you're knitting around, you'll just slide it from one needle over to the next needle and just keep you right in marking your start and your end of your round. So again, knit 2, and so knit the second one and purl 2. So again, behind your yarn into the back of the stitch, and then do a wee flick and yeah, knit 2 and another purl 2. So it's, I heard someone call this almost like a wee dance, the purl stitch. So here we're going to leave this, and now we'll teach Stephen how to do this, and for the next video we'll have Stephen have knitted 10 centimeters.
Okay, so we're back to our main picture. You were showing, because I'm a bit confused about this, is twist when you're knitting in the round, but you've knitted a cowl, which is like a, no,
I didn't knit it, it was sent to me.
Okay, show me what you knitted. What was this sample then?
So this is a sample, I just received it today actually.
This is Rowan as well.
Yeah, they just sent me this one, but you can see you can't really
So I can't untwist it.
Yeah, because there is actually a twist.
There's
in
a
it.
twist. It's like a Mobius strip. So if a Mobius strip is 2 bits of paper, a bit of paper, and you can put it together, but you twist the paper and put the top side to the underside. And so it's,
yeah, well, it's maybe not quite that, but you can see the twist.
Well, it kind of is, because you twisted the stitch around the needle.
You can see the twist is here.
All right, good.
Right.
How did you get this texture going on? This bubbly,
so these
bobbly.
are wee bubbles.
How did you do that?
You have, in one stitch, you're basically making up like 5 stitches, and then you're knitting this one. I can see you knitted back and forth a couple of times, and then you decrease them all to 1 stitch again, and then you knit on.
Okay, I think this.
So yeah, it's a bit
complicated.
more.
That's for another time.
Yeah.
And this is in the Rowan magazine.
Yeah, that pattern there's in the new Rowan magazine.
I can't believe this magazine. I can't believe it's even called a magazine. So this is in the Rowan magazine.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's even called a magazine. It's like an actual coffee table book. It's really thick.
Yeah.
And these are what, monthly?
No, they are twice a year.
Or twice a year.
So
that's why it's so big.
Yeah, so this
And
is
it's
the
basically
autumn winter.
Oh, right, okay.
Autumn winter one.
So there's Erica Knight. She's kind of seems to be a staple, and Brandon Mabley and Cafe Facet. He's quite famous, isn't he?
Yeah, Cafe Facet is.
So we're saying this, you can't even see it.
Yeah. So Cafe Facet is working a lot with Rowan. So Lisa Richardson is actually an in-house designer, and so is Martin Story. You will see them.
Oh. See it again.
So Cafe Facet is working a lot with Rowan. Lisa Richardson is an in-house designer, and so is Martin Story. And Georgia Farrell is the newest in-house designer. Again, Quail Studio, Erica Knight and Chloe Thurr. They're all kind of your the designers that really often work with Rowan. I'm not sure if Eric and Knight is an in-house designer.
So this bubbly Mobius strip,
Yeah.
it's not called that, it's my name, our
Yeah.
name,
Yeah.
because that's what it's like, is, oh, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
So it's here,
Yeah.
a wee marker. And it's called the Romanesca.
Yeah, and you can see this Lisa Richardson just designed that one.
Okay, I like it. And can you buy it separately? No.
The patterns in the magazine, you have to buy the magazine.
Is the magazine expensive? How much is it?
It's $13.50, so it's actually
That's actually not bad, really. I mean,
No.
it's quite beautiful, whether or not.
And there's about 40 patterns.
Yeah,
and
there's a whole bunch of patterns.
If
here.
you think about it, each pattern in PDF format from
Maybe
Rowan is
£4 or something,
£4.
yeah. So this kind of thing reminds me of I mean, it's not the only guy that does it, but I saw him on Instagram, Rastus Su, or I don't know if you pronounce it that, but like that. Apparently he's from Taiwan, and he knits really nice geometric fabrics, and he calls it origami knitting.
Yeah. It actually reminds me a little bit more about Georgia Farrell, who uses
Right.
architecture as her inspiration.
All right, okay. So that's quite. So that's why, I don't think at the beginning of the video it said, "Oh, I'm going to knit. I'm a genius." It clearly is very difficult and quite impressive. But I think that it would be nice to kind of challenge myself to try and get to at least doing a nice fabric.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a really good book, and you can buy it from the shop. Wow, you can get it online even.
Yeah, you can get it online.
Okay, so that's quite interesting. We've got this, and we've got the pebble yarn here as well. We're going to have a go at this scarf. I think we've done loads. Sorry, hat. It's not a scarf, it's a hat.
Yeah.
And we're going to come back with our next video, and I hopefully will have knitted. Genuinely will have knitted. Not get my wife to help me. Well, she'll help me, but I think it's probably important to see, can a beginner go from, with a bit of support, go from this really simplistic one to something more complicated. Let's try and do it.
I've seen it before, so yes, I think you can.
Yeah. Please like and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.